What's up everyone? Today we're gonna review the low-budget action thriller The Guest. You know, I watch a lot of movies. In most cases, I choose them because I like the story, or the actors, or maybe simply because I enjoyed the trailer. But sometimes there are movies like The Guest that I basically stumble over by accident. I heard rumors and people talking like this is one of the best movies that went under the radar last year. So I decided to give it a shot. I did my best to avoid knowing too much about the plot beforehand, and that's the way to go if you want to appreciate The Guest in the best conditions. The story is about David, a soldier who introduces himself to the Peterson family, claiming to be a friend of their son who died in combat.
Can I help you?
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes?
My name is David. Mrs. Peterson, I knew your son, Caleb. I was with him when he died.
At first, he appears as a complete stranger, but he quickly becomes everybody's best friend. He's a protective big brother for the kid who gets bullied at school and a confidant for the parents. And he's total eye candy for the ladies who just can't look away from his rock-hard six-pack. He exudes vulnerability and charm, but there's definitely something off with Mr. Nice Guy here. When he starts to get involved in the private life of each family member, it's to solve their problem in his own special way, which includes sleeping with the daughter's best friend, blackmailing a school board, and starting a bar fight.
What are you gonna do? Nothing bad. For the damages.
At this point of the story, it's hard not to think of The Guest as a watered-down version of Takashi Miike's Visitor Q. But The Guest is a movie that keeps its cards close to its chest. Once we think we figured out where the plot is going, the movie turns into something completely different, but I'm not going to spoil anything for you now. The Guest is the new movie directed by Adam Wingard and written by Simon Barrett, the creators of the gory but tongue-in-cheek slasher movie You're Next. At the movie's release, some people have praised Wingard for his solid direction and Barrett for his smart script that hits the perfect balance between horror, violence and comedy. But instead, others thought the film was a total mess with ridiculous attempts at dark humor. And that's something you should keep in mind here because just like You're Next, The Guest is really a love or hate kind of movie. The director does his best with a tiny budget to keep you on the edge with unpredictable turns of events, smart dialogue, and an ominous, thin score that reminds me of John Carpenter in his prime. The movie also has an interesting old-school 80s slasher vibe, and makes several references to the works of James Cameron, Dario Argento, and Brian De Palma. However, you will either be sucked in from the very beginning by the intoxicating atmosphere, or you'll be just bored to death by the painfully slow pacing of the first hour. And likewise, you will either have a lot of fun with all the twists and turns later on, or you'll just think that the writers have completely dropped the ball during the second act. The actors do a pretty good job too. I really like the family in this movie, and I was genuinely concerned for them when things take a turn for the worse. But Dan Stevens knocks it out of the park as the enigmatic and seductive stranger who can't seem to wipe the self-satisfied smirk off his face. He's extremely sympathetic and scary at the same time. Think Ryan Gosling in Drive meets Rutger Hauer from The Hitcher. He's clearly having a blast with the role and has received nothing but praise for his awesome performance. In the end, I think that The Guest suffers from being too uneven. Sometimes trying to be really gritty and serious, and other times really campy. But it's still a well-crafted and entertaining action thriller with great atmosphere and a haunting performance from Dan Stevens. It's a film that will either satisfy your guilty B-movie pleasures or will leave you scratching your head, asking yourself what you've just watched. By the way, I like to mention that Wingard and Barrett are going to direct the American remake of Korean revenge thriller I Saw the Devil, one of the best Asian movies of the decade. So before we get ourselves what will probably be a dumbed down version from Hollywood Studios executives, I invite the most daring among you to take a look at this masterpiece of transgressive cinema. But watch out, this movie doesn't pull any punches. You've been warned. So that's it guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment and subscribe and thanks for watching.